Hello and welcome to Sasha and Goff Live Recorded.
I'm Sasha.
And I'm Goff, and we're getting better at this, buddy.
A little bit.
All right, well, welcome to the show. If you're new, what we like to do on this show, every episode we do a top 3 list. Last week we did, what do we do? Things that suck about living in the Midwest. And this week, at the end of the episode, we will be talking about, just kind of our top 3 things that people say or do to annoy the hell out of us.
Yeah, we got a lot of those, I think.
Yeah, so I was doing my top 3. I was thinking about it, and it's just like, a lot of these are more current things, but it's just like, yeah, these top 3 lists could really be like top 25 lists.
I have a feeling like by next week we would have a whole new set of
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, let's talk about the advertising space. Unfortunately, it is time for the 1988 Tops podcast to go. Sasha, I noticed you're wearing a useless t-shirt. Is that for our friend Useless Dave, or is that just a coincidence?
It's used less. It's a recycling shirt.
I got you, but
Unbelievable.
I'll take the gap out and we got useless. But so you're still promoting for him.
I love
Dave.
Dave.
You extra?
Yeah, he's my lawyer. He's my environmental attorney in law. I say it all the time. You get a DUI in the jungle, you call Dave.
Damn right. Well, I'm also promoting one of our friends. This is our dear friend Swick on my shirt.
Rest in peace.
What?
No, I was kidding.
Oh my God! It's like,
no, the picture
we can't talk about this now.
The picture looks like we are honoring our
fallen.
We're
friend. Not eulogizing him. No, this is just he was the target, I guess we'll say, of the Billy Joe Travis Memorial Crockett Cup Tag Team Golf Invitational Classic
Championship. Close.
He was cut off
Close.
part 4. But anyway, so the advertisement space is open. If you're new to the show, all you got to do is send us $1 American. You can Venmo us at Sasha and Goff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Goes straight to my Chase account.
Yes. Or if you're one of my friends, you can just Zelle me. My phone number, you got it. If you want to contact the show, you can text us. And when we say you can text us, I don't mean like text us individually. Like if you literally go to our show notes on Spotify or whatever, the first thing on there says send us a text. You can literally, so you don't have to have our phone number. You can send it to that and it'll just get sent to our email, which is pretty cool. Also, sasaandgoff.com for YouTube. Instagram, Sasha and Goff. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. That was pretty good. You did a good job.
I thought it was kind of fluid.
You forgot one thing.
What's that?
At the end of the show, we dropped the bucket, and that's how we pull out what we're going to talk about on next week's episode.
Yeah.
And if you would like to send in your topic that we might potentially pull out, and as long as Goff doesn't veto it on the fly, if we pick your name and your topic, you get a free sticker, which we have to get printed. So give us 6 to 10 to 12 weeks. I don't know how long it takes.
Weeks, jeez.
Yeah, I don't know how long it takes to get stickers. But anyway, if you want us to talk about something specific, let us know, and we will toss it in the bucket for you.
Damn right.
But everything else was... I didn't have to go to Yo Mama jokes this week. You
no,
did great.
No. I mean, like, I guess that is a good sign when I'm not cut off by the book. So
You did well.
I wanted to ask you something real quick. There is... So you're trying to look at my notes here.
Yeah, I can't
try to see if you can prepare. What do you think about pickleball?
In general?
Or specific? I mean, like, have you played? Do you play? They built a new court, like, right by my house. They did a nice renovation on the huge field, and it's like, people are, like, waiting outside. I mean, there's, I think, 3 courts. So, but it's insane. I mean, like, I'm already looking at it. It's like, damn, they already got their money's worth. Not like people have to pay to play, but it's like, good call on that. I mean, like, literally, it's like people, like, up against the fences waiting to get in, and there's cars lined all up and down the street. It's nuts.
They did the same thing here. I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
They're making indoor ones, outdoor ones. They're tearing down tennis courts to build pickleball
I've been seeing a lot on social media, like, a lot of the skaters are pissed because they're, like, replacing skate parks with them, you know? And,
yeah. I mean, skate parks, I don't see as many people at skate parks as I used to. The tennis people versus pickleball people, that's a real fight because some of the pickleball people will start playing on tennis courts because the courts are taken.
Yeah.
And then the tennis people are like, get out of here. Yeah. I think it's all ridiculous. Like, it's insane how popular it became. I don't know why, but I'm hey, it gets people moving.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't have a problem with it because, there are a lot of people. And I feel... You know, like, it went from biking to skateboarding, then skateboarding to rollerblading, and now it's like rollerblading to scootering. Like the razors.
It didn't go to rollerblading.
All right, well, No, I'm talking about being the new one that's getting picked on.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
so like the new sport. So it's
Yeah.
like you see videos for pickleball, or you see like these scooter videos, and people are still like, yeah, but it's still gay as fuck. You know, and it's just like,
People get really into it, which is like,
yeah.
I mean, there's fights happening consistently.
I haven't seen fights.
Yeah, because people don't like listen to the rules.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's so new that people are making up their own rules.
Well, and like, at least the court by where I live, it's like if there are people waiting, you have to play your game. The winner gets to go on.
Okay.
But if the winner came with another person, and a group of 4 came, they don't want their group to sit out.
Yeah.
So they're like not letting other people come in and play, and then it's like, no, that's the rule. It's printed on this sign that we just came up with 3 months ago and
It's
put
like,
up
so
there.
you win, you get to keep the cord. It's kind of like old school, like at arcades when you would put the quarter up on the thing.
It's insane that it got so popular. It's more insane to me that they have they've closed like office depots and built.
Jeez, I didn't know it was to that extent.
Yeah, and they built like these insane indoor courts, and now they have like restaurant / pickleball things. Like,
you know what? I'll admittedly, for the first like couple weeks, I was more just on the mindset of like, what the hell is this? Isn't this just like kind of oversized ping pong? Because it's like the ball is like.
You never played before?
I haven't. No.
We played this in high school.
Pickleball?
Pickleball.
Okay.
It might have been called something else, but I don't even think it was. I don't remember what it was called. I feel like it was called pickleball, but it was the same thing.
You might be right, because I feel like I've heard that name before it got popular. I just didn't really know what it was.
It was the same thing. It was, I mean, just on the courts with the little net.
Yeah, it's like a little bigger paddle. I mean, it's still a
Yeah.
flat board, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a net.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, I don't know. It was just something to keep us, like, after we played that, they're like, we're going to play badminton for 6 months. And we're like, we kind of already did.
Yeah,
it's all the same game. Why don't we just play tennis? Oh, because the ball goes faster and, like, fat people can't play or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's a good game for, like, old people, too, because it moves a little bit slower. But then you watch some videos and you're like, it's out of control.
What about, you know what, and this is kind of related but unrelated. Do you have any idea how to play racquetball, like, correctly? The actual rules?
No, I don't think so.
Because we were talking about that, again, I think we were driving past the pickleball court and someone brought up racquetball. Or no, you know what? We had a racquetball in the garage and my daughters asked it what it was. You know, and it was just like, well, it's kind of like tennis. No, actually, it's like, because you play, it's like you against the wall, but you're still against someone.
Yeah.
And so like in the movie Big with Tom Hanks, there's like a good racquetball scene in there, and it's still just like, I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I get the gist of it, but I like where the ball needs to land and that kind of stuff. I have no clue. And then I've seen it where like it bounces off of this wall and then off the back wall. Like, is that out of bounds?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting. We should film us learning how to play racquetball.
That would be awesome.
On rollerblades.
We'll have GoPros with rollerblades.
With rollerblades.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
I think so. This is actually just like while I'm asking you questions, I was talking with a buddy at work yesterday, and I know you're a huge fan of this actor. And now tell me if this is in the bucket list, because then I won't, you don't have to answer it.
Okay.
What is your favorite Pauly Shore movie?
Oh.
Mine is The Son-in-Law. I'll say it right now.
Okay. I mean, I would probably have to go just like the way that most people would with like Biodome.
Okay.
But it's either.
See, I would think Encino Man would be like the top
it's either
one.
Encino Man or Biodome.
Okay.
Like Encino Man, obviously how everybody learned of Pauly Shore.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if you know this. When I was young, and some people still to this day call me this, but when I was however old I was when Encino Man came out, I used to like just do the voice all the time. I used to whatever. And so people called me Stony.
Nice.
From, no joke, from whenever it came out until today, it still happened.
Really?
Last week's episode, I was telling you, I went to see Less Than Jake. They played last year or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I saw a buddy of mine from grade school at that show, and he was like, Stony! Like, it's still, like, people still call me Stony.
That's hilarious, too, because obviously you would associate something else with Stony.
I know.
That's definitely not you.
I know.
But it's like,
yeah,
so if one of our other buddies came up and called you that, I would have been like, what the hell did I miss?
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, Pauly Shore. It's like, oh, yeah, Encino Man.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think teachers, when they would hear people call me Stony, were like, trying to put two and two together, but they were wrong or whatever.
Yeah. Because you brought up Tia Carrere last week, and we were talking about Jury Duty, which to me isn't one of the better ones. I would say, Biodome, Encino Man, and probably Son-in-Law.
Yeah, Biodome was like, I think, the pinnacle. It was like this was the best movie, but Encino Man is like that first Raw album that a punk band puts out that you're like, this is something special.
But it's still so good, man.
Yeah.
And in Biodome, it starts off with like a Voodoo Glow Skull song, which is awesome.
Yeah. In the car, in the van or whatever.
Yeah, the Son-in-Law's also got Tiffany Amber Thiessen, though. She was on both of our lists last week. Sorry.
Biodome has Joey Lauren Adams.
Yes, good call.
Yeah.
Good flick. So is that your favorite then? Probably Biodome.
It's a toss-up between the two. I think Biodome's the best. I think Encino Man has like a special place in my heart, but I don't know. I love Pauly Shore. There's a Pauly Shore autograph up there. I don't know if you saw that.
I have seen it. Yeah, I don't
know.
Every time you point to it, I look like I've never seen it.
He autographed it Pauly Shore, and then he wrote my name, so it looks like I autographed it to him. But whatever. I met him.
Oh, it's at the top there. Gotcha.
I met him one time
with an H.
I've definitely told this story on some podcast before, but like when I met him, me and Megan were standing in line, and he was like, "Everybody listen, I just had neck surgery. Do not touch me. Do not put your arm around me. Do not whatever." And I had been drinking.
Oh, no.
So
you put him in a headlock?
I'm like the second person in line. He was yelling this in my ear. I just hug him like immediately. And he's like, he yells at me. He's like, "What did I just tell you?" And then but he was cool. He was cool about it. Like,
he flipped you over the table.
Way cooler than like he should have been. And he said something too. He was like, called me an asshole or whatever it was. I don't exactly remember what it was, but he could have kicked me out.
Yeah.
And he was just cool and like signed probably that thing over there, and we took a picture.
I noticed the H is the biggest letter, so you probably said without an H, and he put it in there just because you were being an asshole.
He actually, I probably said with an H because I just do that to most people who give me autographs, because otherwise
we're in the same boat. We talked about this with our names.
But one time I had an ex-girlfriend who met Screech. And told him it's Sasha. She wanted to get a card for me autographed by him, and she was like, "Sasha, there's no H in there, it's just SASA." And he wrote it with the H anyway. He was like, "I'm Screech with an H."
Damn right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all the fun stuff I got to talk about. You got anything fun going on?
I do have some stuff going on. Leftover Crack I'm going to see tomorrow.
Oh, are you sure? Do you have a ticket yet?
I don't have a ticket.
That wouldn't stop you, though. I know you have your stack of concert tickets is probably just as big as the one that you've purchased but not gone to because you forgot.
No, I have a couple that I didn't go to that, whatever, what you're saying. Yeah. But no, I generally don't buy too many that I don't go to. In fact, I buy them to like make me go to them. But they're playing in West Chicago, Illinois, which is like 10 minutes from where we are.
Is that the place by me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. And so I'm going to go to that. I actually, by the time this comes out or whatever, the concert would have happened already. But like last weekend, there was a concert. The Boll Weevils and the Brokedowns were playing. It was the Red Scare Records 20th anniversary weekend. Oh. So they were doing a bunch of shows at the Beat Kitchen. And I was going to go to that on a Friday night. And after fees, it ended up being like $36. And I was like, I'm not paying for $36. I'm not. I'm taking a stand. And so then Leftover Crack is coming. I'm like, let's see how much this is going to be. $20 plus $5.88 fee, $26 for Leftover Crack. Still more than I'd like to spend, but I understand. I'm in.
Well, plus for you, that's 20-minute drive, maybe 25. You don't have to go to the city. You could just...
Yeah, that's the other part of it, too. It's not an hour away. So so I think I'm going to go see him. But I don't know if you know, you're not a Leftover Crack person, are you? So, like, the singer got in trouble because he was dating a singer from another band, Days and
I can't imagine there would be problems with a band called Leftover Crack. It's no, like this, and this is real quick. I'm sorry, like they've been on Hellcat Records, so it's like I've gotten so many of their stickers in the past. Never listened to them, but it was always just like I don't even want to. I don't know, so man.
Funny. I've been a fan for a long time. I've seen them 20 years ago. I saw them play or whatever it was in Harvey, Illinois.
Was that the last time, or like have you seen them?
No, I've seen them since then, but they don't come around too often. Like they weren't a band for a while. This is a whole new cast of characters. It's just the main guy with a bunch of other people. Some of them have died of drug overdoses. Some of them are like don't want any part of like.
I was gonna say, so like, is he cleared of everything now, or is he?
I don't think he's cleared, but I don't think he. It's like a he said she said situation, and everybody's
there's no like trial or anything going on.
Not that I know.
Like, okay, rumors that he's.
So they're like he beat this woman. She has pictures of him, being beat up or whatever, and he's like, that's not the case. She attacked me, and I defended myself, and blah blah blah. So it's like, what side do you choose? And obviously, which side you're leaning towards most of the time is you're like, all right, well, the person who's like being abused is like, this is messed up. But at the same time, I want to see Leftover Crack. And I've said it before, I love Bill Cosby. I don't think he's done anything wrong. Jared from Subway, great guy.
Well, maybe. That documentary I watched.
You're going to make a clip out of this, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Sorry to my family who follows me on Instagram. I'm just kidding. They're jokes.
I would have to say real quick, this is in response to this. If we each had a tagline, yours would be "Don't clip that," and mine would be real quick.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. And I would be, that's funny. I think I say that more than I laugh or whatever. Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of t-shirts. I'm going to make a t-shirt store this week. What do you think about that?
I'm on board.
Okay. We're going to buy our own
t-shirts. We need new t-shirts for the show. We're running out of them.
So anyway, Leftover Crack. I'm going to go see him because I want to see him. I haven't seen him in a long time. But I am a little bit like, Yeah. Are you that way? Is there any band or anything like that has had allegations where you're like, I'm not going to go see them anymore because of that? Because there's a lot of punk bands, especially Warped Tour.
Anti-Flag. I've always hated them anyway, though, so that just gave me more reason to not watch them. I talked about Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse, which actually, I don't know if you heard Warped Tour is possibly coming back next year. I don't know what the dates are, but yeah, that's one where it's like, I've seen him before, and it's like, I won't watch him if they're there. Yeah, you know what? I'm a very, like, petty person at times. So there are stupid things I could be like, you know what? Fat Mike said something 10 years ago, so I'll watch this band instead.
That's funny.
Yes, shit like that. But no, off the top of my head, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm the same. Petty is a great word to describe it, but it's even better that you can, like, acknowledge that you are petty at times. Because there's people who are just, like, petty, and that's it. That's where it ends. I mean, I've done that. I've been that way for a while.
Absolutely.
So. Warped Tour I was going to bring up. How much you think it's going to be to go to Warped Tour? If you have to take a guess.
So first we got to say, like, I mean, I would assume they would do, Illinois at least because it's one of the bigger draws. However, last time they did that, the 5-year thing, or is this the 5-year anniversary? Is that why they're doing it? Because I think this is year 30, actually.
Okay.
That would have been going. But anyway, to stop my rant, ticket prices, all told, I would say $65.
Okay.
Probably.
I'm going to go $100.
You think so? I don't know. You might be right, but I mean, I don't know if that, because like Riot Fest is like a 3-day thing, and I don't know if that, because those are like about $100 a day, right?
$100 a day,
yeah. You know what? Yeah, $65-$70. That's what I think.
I would love it. I think the last one we went to was something around like 50.
Probably 48, 50, something like that.
40 with fees or something like that. Mm-hmm. Excited? Interested?
Well, definitely interested. And I was talking to Joni about this in the car last night. This would be the first one since I stopped drinking. So it's like, so there's that. It's
You're
a lot of standing. Yeah, it's like, holy shit! Did you guys know that they sell other stuff too?
That's funny.
So yeah, actually, I could probably leave this year with merchandise. Maybe eat some food. But no, you know what? If there's 6 or 7 bands I want to see, I'll go. I'll be excited.
Yeah,
just because it's the hangout aspect, and then just I miss it. I miss that. Yeah, the whole thing. I mean, we're the oldest guys there, but still, whatever.
When I saw the rumor, I was like, I hope it's true.
My brother sent me the picture, and it was just like,
cool.
Is it coming? He's like, well, they didn't announce yet, but So I hope so.
We'll see. You brought up the movie Jury Duty.
Yes.
And great movie. This week, I got Jury Duty.
Oh!
I got freaking Jury Duty.
Like you have it coming up, or you had it?
I have to go to it
Okay.
the first week of October. And I blame our dear friend Useless Dave.
Okay.
Now, we took off his advert because it was time.
It was time. Nothing personal.
But half personal, I think.
Okay.
because he convinced me to vote the last time. And I voted.
That got you on the list, huh?
And then I feel like within I don't know when the last time the vote was, a year ago or something.
I think it's like every 4 years.
No. It wasn't presidential. It was like Illinois.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Vote local. Like I don't need to vote for the president.
You're a librarian.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I got picked to do my diligence here. So my question is, okay, so first of all, I've done it before.
Okay.
And it was 15 minutes from my house, which is great.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to do jury duty, at least it's 15 minutes. This is in downtown Chicago. I have to go to downtown Chicago to do this. Have you ever had jury duty before?
No. I was of the same mind as you were, and I just, like doing my due diligence, finally registered to vote, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. But before that, it was like, no, I never got called. It's like, how come? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's how you kind of officially join the list. But no, I've never done it.
I went one time before, and I went there. I think this was before phones were like very popular. And I went to the place, and I went in there, and then they let us go for lunch. And I got drunk at lunch.
Did you really?
Yeah, so that's how long ago this was.
Okay.
But I went to a restaurant and like very close by. I had a couple beers. I mean, not drunk, but I had a couple beers like for lunch, and then I went back, and then they let us all go.
Nice.
And then it would have been funny if I got a DUI right after that, but no. But yeah, so I just went home after that, and it was just a one day.
Okay.
Now this thing that I have here, it says like up to 7 days or one trial, whichever is more or less.
But you still haven't been picked, though, right? So I think they're just putting you, like, if you have to tell your work, hey, I think they're giving you a heads up, it might be this. Because you might,
But I think you have to go for the first day.
Well, you have to go, yeah. Well, you're going regardless. Yeah, like, if you're summoned, you have to go, at least show up. And it's like,
I just don't know if I have to go for 1 day or 1 week. That's
if you're picked, unless the line is that long that it takes them the week to pick the jury, geez.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've just been so angry, like unnecessarily angry. Like I saw the thing and it says like from the courts, and I'm like, who's suing me? I don't have anything. I haven't done anything. And they're like, yeah, just here you go. You have to show up to this thing. By the way, $50 a day.
There you go.
Not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig.
You know what? The best thing that I took out of this, I got a job now.
They pay you for mileage? Shoot.
Shoot.
Yeah. So
you brought this up just to tell me how excited you are about jury duty?
No, but is there any way jury duty is good? There can't be.
I'm gonna be facetious, but I'll I don't know. Do you got anything else? Because it could transition us into the next one. Otherwise, I could wait.
I got one little thing. What excuse do I need to use to get out of this? Like, how do you get out of jury duty?
You know what? It's such an overused thing now. Unless you go in with a gun or something, I think they know that everyone is trying to do that. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to go in wearing like a swastika shirt. They'll probably just be like, go change your shirt and come back. I think everyone is trying to think of a way to get out of jury duty.
That's what I'm saying. If you know how to get out of jury duty, not that I'm trying to do my due diligence.
Text us.
I would love to know what got you out of jury duty. sasaandgoff@gmail.com. No H in Sasha, no H in Goff. And, it's like, should I say stuff that I have, taken off of our podcast?
At this point, I don't know what could genuinely get you in trouble while you're in like a courthouse, like if you're in a government building. So I don't know, man. You might just...
Yeah, but my blood
Speak
pressure...
Serbian.
My blood pressure... Yeah, it's
there
true.
You go.
It's not a bad thing. My dad actually told them that he doesn't speak English, and they're like, but you're speaking English to us. And he was like, yeah, but I don't want to be here, and I don't speak English.
Yeah. He's like, I can speak it, but I don't understand it.
I think I just have to say that I don't like the police. But the problem is I'm surrounded by police and have to leave. Yeah, if there's one corrupt police officer, I'm going to just get knocked upside the head.
Yeah.
And,
I've heard... You got to try all of them.
I've heard there are corrupt police out there. And I do... I'm not going into it.
I don't buy it.
I'm not going into it. That's all I got. You can swerve.
All right, so we'll jump into then our next segment, which is just what we're putting inside ourselves. We just it's not necessarily, hey, I watched this week. Any kind of product, anything like that, movie, TV. It could be recent, could be old. I just actually wanted to, since we're talking about jury duty, you said can anything good come out of jury duty? Yes, a wonderful docuseries kind of called Jury Duty that was on Amazon. Have you heard about this? It was on Amazon Prime. This came out I think it was last summer actually. It was called Jury Duty. This is one of the best shows I've ever watched because it only went one season, and yeah, it was like 6 or 8 episodes. So it was like a super easy watch because they're 30-minute episodes. So it was a couple people who created The Office. This Morgan Sackett, I think, was the guy. But they hired one guy. They put out an ad on Craigslist. They're like, "Hey, we're just doing a documentary on American jurors." So all these people reached out. They signed one guy or whatever. They reached out to this guy. It's like, "Okay, you got picked." However, they didn't tell him that he's the only one that is technically on the show. Everyone else in the jury who he thinks was also picked for the same thing are actually actors.
Oh, okay.
So this show is just the most ridiculous shit that goes on, and it's like them trying to not blow this whole thing. And it's like, it's charming, it's hysterical, and then when they show you the reveal at the end, you're just like, because everyone keeps talking. Like one of the
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
All I'm gonna say, one of the guys who was part of the jury is on Parks and Rec, and they talk, like I saw like on one of the Parks and Rec pages. His name's Kirk Fox. Do you know him?
Yeah,
the comedian. Yeah, he plays Sewage Joe. Yeah. So he's on the show, and they find out right away that he was a fan of Parks and Rec. So they're just like, shit. So they had, because Kirk Fox, and it's like, first of all, people know him. Why is he in this? But they wanted to have some like notoriety. So they said it just sucked for him. Like so much of his stuff got cut because they couldn't have him close enough to where it'd be like, because like his hair is a little bit longer. Kirk Fox, he's got the mustache, and like casual Parks and Rec fans might be like, oh shit, I forgot. Yeah, he's Sewage Joe in a few episodes. So it was really funny because like he didn't get to shine that much as an actor / comedian because he couldn't be in it as much because he would have blown it. So
he's great. I'm a big fan of his. He was in a TV show called Svetlana.
Okay.
It was a sitcom that was on Access TV, which is like Mark Cuban owned.
Oh, jeez.
It turned from Access TV to whatever it is now. Or maybe now it's Access TV. Does that exist still, Access TV?
I'm thinking like AXS?
Yeah.
Okay, I know the logo, so probably.
It might have been on like Palladium or something like that. Like a different like weird channel. And it's
Freeform or something.
It's a hilarious comedy about like Russian prostitutes and whatever. But Kirk Fox is one of the guys on there, and that's like the first time I ever saw him. So then I started following his. Yeah. Like I know him more from that than I do Parks and Rec. But he's great. And by the way, I wrote it down. I really think you know what I said. Documentary. It's shot that way. It's just a sitcom essentially. But yes, it's one guy in. The thing that's so good about it is like this guy's just they just happen to pick this guy and he's perfect. He's like, I don't know, just watch it. All right. Last week on last week's episode you talked about tornadoes. I actually just watched Twisterz, the newest one, which I liked it. I've watched a lot of bad movies this year, mostly horror movies because I don't know, I just feel like I'm losing my horror cred. I don't know, because everything sucks now. That's probably why I stopped doing the podcast with my sister. But yeah, Twisterz, I mean, I'm not saying it's groundbreaking or anything. If you've seen the other one, they pulled like a lot of the same bits, you know, like the scene where they're at the drive-through movie theater and all of a sudden never saw it.
All right, well, it's a great movie. I mean, like Twister is very fun. Maybe I shouldn't say great, but it's an entertaining movie, and this one was I
remember the original one. I'd never watched it, but I know what it's about or whatever. When we were in the Dells, there was one night that we almost went to the movie theater and they were playing Twisterz, and I was like, I probably don't need to see the first one to see the second one.
No, you don't.
Yeah. I did like the fact that it's the sequel and they just added the letter S to make it.
Which is hilarious too, because this reminds me of Titanic 2. Yeah. I was looking through movies, like new stuff to watch, and there's a new one just called The Twisterz. Wow. So obviously it's part of the Asylum who makes all those like knockoff movies, but it's hilarious that they just put the in front of it. And
I love it.
Hey, we can get away with it. So yeah, I'd recommend that. That was a fun watch. And then the last thing is a new work came out a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago. It's called Wise Guy. It's a documentary on HBO about The Sopranos. About David Chase, who created the show.
You're all things Sopranos now.
I know. Well, you know what? It's kind of nice that this came out right when I decided to finish it. Yeah. You know, like 2 or 3. It gave me a few weeks to like, you know, kind of like get back down. But yeah, so did you watch this or do you know of this?
I didn't watch it. I'm going to.
Okay.
So don't spoil how it was made.
I will say a couple things just because when I talked about the Sopranos, however many episodes ago that was, you mentioned the one episode with the woods where Christopher and they actually focus on that for a little bit. They talk about how it's just how like what's his name Pauly Walnuts. It's like they actually had to mess up his hair for that one. He was really pissed off.
That's funny.
And then they also, like, on a darker note, they do talk about another thing I brought up, which was like the unresolved rape that was like really brutal, and you're like, what the fuck? Why? So they talk about that, and you're like, all right, I can see it a little bit. Kind of surprised some of the people they don't have like for interviews. It was just like, did they not reach out to a lot of people, or could they not get them? Because I was kind of underwhelmed. I mean, the show is, though, more so focused on the creator, David Chase, who just seems like a kind of moody prick as it is. He's like always just like, all of his interviews are with him like head in hand, like he's bored. But no, I recommend it. It's only 2 episodes. They're like an hour and 15 minutes. And it's just a little more insight on the show.
I've seen him do interviews with like Seth Meyers and stuff, and he just seems very like quiet and...
Yeah, I mean, like he seems like one of those guys where it was like, I don't know, I didn't really want to do the show, but they were going to give me money and they liked it. And it's just crazy to me too, even at that time, that there hadn't been a show like this. They all thought the show was going to fail and it was like going to be terrible. And it's like, no, this is the biggest show ever.
I'm definitely going to watch this at some point. Are you interested? I've asked you, maybe.
The spinoff one?
Not the spinoff, but the movie that came out.
Wait, there was one on Netflix, right? Is that the one you're talking about? It was like Tony growing up.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that. I keep forgetting about that. So
are you interested in watching that?
It's not. I mean, I probably won't even write it down. But if I come across it someday, I'll be like, yeah, why not?
I think it was worth it.
Okay.
And a lot of people had like differing opinions on it, which is why I think it's worth it to see like what you think after seeing the.
It's always weird with stuff like that. Like, did you watch El Camino, I think it was called, which was the Breaking Bad movie that they just did for Jesse?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, all right, this is cool, I guess, but it's unnecessary.
It was like nice to have them back.
Yeah, that's and then you're pretty much
but it wasn't great by any means.
It was unnecessary. It didn't really further the story. So, that is what I got. How about you?
Okay, I got a couple things. I finished a book this week called Trials and Tribulations. It is a book, or maybe it's Trials and Tribulations of Running.
Trials and Tribulations and Zombies.
It's about Susie Chan. Susie Chan is she's a runner. She's like an ultra marathoner. She is a Peloton instructor. She's my favorite Peloton instructor because I run on Peloton.
My personal favorite Peloton. You tell people that?
I do.
Who's your favorite Peloton instructor?
It's a thing between
I
Peloton
know.
people.
I'm not a healthy person, so I don't do that.
So, I'm very unhealthy. And so I did it to her face. So me and Megan went one time to meet Peloton people. They came to the Skokie location in Illinois.
Okay.
Like 5 different people or whatever. And there were 2 people in one station. You went like basically in a line, station to station. You would take a picture with one person. They would say something funny and then you would move on and whatever. And we got to the Susie Chan section and she was with another instructor, Mariana Fernandez, who I didn't know at the time, but she is now like my second favorite. They're both running instructors on the thing. And the reason why I like them is because they seem like personally just like you're like, oh, I like this person.
Okay.
And also they have like my favorite playlists. Like they play music from the 90s,
nice.
Grunge, rock, punk. Like they're the 2 that have the best playlists if you ask me. But I didn't know the one, and Susie Chan was the one I was really excited to meet because that's my favorite one. So as I met the first one, who was very kind, Mariana Fernandez, very kind, once again, currently one of my favorites, I was like, nice to meet you. Susie Chan's my favorite.
That's what you said, huh?
It was something like that. Or I reached to like shake Susie Chan's hand or whatever it was, and I was like, "You're my favorite."
And this other woman just
she was there,
inconveniently got in the way.
Yeah, and then I was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm very rude." And she was a professional about it. She was like, "It's okay. This happens all the time. We understand.
Oh,
like
God, that's
everyone
hilarious.
has their favorite person." Megan was making fun of me because then I was like fangirling out for Susie Chan. The entire time, by the way, I'm like one of two men in this thing. It's all, it's like hundreds of women and then me and another guy who I
definitely
know.
Stand out.
Yeah, and I know the other guy who was there too. I've seen him at wrestling shows and stuff like that. But nonetheless, so that happens, and then I fangirled out for another girl who was like this jacked woman, and I was like, "Your classes are very difficult," or whatever it was. Yeah, it was.
That's so funny, man. I haven't I haven't run into anyone
going into that. I had zero. I was like, they're just like people. Who cares? But when I met them, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I've only like done that with like Ric Flair.
I love your video, by the way. Yeah. What was that? Nothing.
Well, and so then I felt like a jerk, obviously, immediately and whatever.
Well, this is reminding me of a couple weeks ago when we talked about that when you get the unintentional wave or whatever, and you're not waving at that person. That's funny though. I can imagine just like you got in the way.
And then the other weird part about that was like it's all women and they're all like they like hug each other and everything, and I'm like staying away because I don't want to touch
do, like,
anybody.
The fists up or like.
Well, I wasn't even like, hey, like nice to meet you or whatever. But they would like come.
Your hands in pocket, just.
So if you look at we took pictures with them. I have pictures where
most
it's like
tense you've ever looked in your life.
It's Megan and the two women instructors, and I'm like 3 feet away, like with my hands in my pockets, like looking the opposite direction because I was just like super uncomfortable.
Everyone's like thinking you photobombed it, but it's like no, he should be in the picture.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So anyway, Susie Chan has a book about all of like her running experiences leading up to this stuff, talking about ultra marathons and running in like the Saharan desert and through jungles and all this stuff. And I didn't think it was going to be super interesting because that doesn't sound like an interesting book. Like, hey, I ran this race.
So what makes you read it then? Just because she did
because,
it?
I wanted to support her. Like, so I bought the book.
Okay.
And then I was like, yeah, let me just go through, let me read this thing.
Cool.
And as I read it, I enjoyed the book because you are kind of feeling like what they're feeling through, where they're like their muscles are giving up, like there's
now how old are these people?
Susie Chan started running when she was 35, which is kind of her thing. Okay. So like it's not like this was her whole life or whatever. She kind of like wasn't sure what she was doing in life and had some difficulties with her previous marriage and all this kind of stuff. And at 35 started running and became this ultra marathoner. She's under 50 now. Okay. I would say like 47 or something. But yeah, so she hasn't been running for a long time. She didn't run for a long time before she did these ultra marathons, but they're crazy. They like go up mountains and stuff like that.
Wow. And
so it ended up being a very interesting book. I like that. And then the other thing that I was putting inside myself this week, you brought it up last week, and so I said I have to watch this. Okay. I watched Beetlejuice. Oh, nice. I watched the movie Beetlejuice, and the original one.
Okay.
And
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. It's like 80s good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And Keaton, so many of just his like small things that like you kind of, hey, he's like lifting up her dress or like doing tremendous. A little,
yeah, he was tremendous. I mean, I really liked it. I was worried about being scared because I don't like scary stuff. I don't like creepy stuff. And so like, when the guy with like the shrunken head, I was kind of like,
There is some dark stuff in there. I mean, like when you like the football team, how they keep calling her coach, and she's like, "No, your coach lived."
Yeah, and then the guy comes in and he's like, "Coach, I think we died."
Like, I don't think we survived the accident.
Yeah. No, solid movie. I'm glad I watched it. I'm excited to see Beetlejuice, and just like get some more of these classic movies under my belt that I should have seen a long time ago.
Yeah, these I call them legacy sequels. Like they did it for like Bill and Ted, like kind of unnecessary sequels. But it's like now, actually, since Beetlejuice 2, they're saying like Goonies is gonna do it now. And it's like, come on. It's like, I still love Sean Astin. I mean, he was in Stranger Things not too long, and
Encino Man.
There you go. And like, Josh Brolin's still working. Corey Feldman, Feldman. He's obviously an international superstar now, so
sure, he's something.
Hope they can get him for the Goonies remake.
Yeah, but in general, I was happy that I watched that movie. So
good,
not bad.
Awesome.
Oh, Megan brought up the fact. She asked me a question. She goes,
"Uh-oh.
When you were younger, did you one-handed clap to Winona Ryder?"
No.
And I was like, I don't think so. But in Mr. Deeds, Adam Sandler, pretty solid-looking Winona Ryder over there. But like, I don't really know her stuff when she was younger, so I didn't. So I saw her, and it's like now,
Yeah, she looks very similar in Beetlejuice 1 to how she does in 2. At least, really? I mean, she's aged, but the character doesn't change much. But no, you know what? I respect her as an actress, but no, I've never been like, in love with her.
She wasn't done your 90s babes.
Nah, no, she's attractive, but no, not a 90s babe for me.
Okay, cool.
So, all right, I guess it's time to get to our bucket, right? Our bucket.
All right.
This week, we're talking about the top 3 things that people say or do to annoy us.
Annoy us / make us angry.
Yes.
One or the other.
Okay, so yes, we're either like irked or we're ready to kill. You want to start off?
Yeah, I'll start off. Mine is, I could have done this as just 3 separate words, but I put it all into one thing.
Okay.
And I'm calling it word of the month or whatever you want to call it. It's like when a word gets so popular that like moms start using it, and grandpas are like, "What an epic fail!" Yeah. Remember epic fail?
Or like, it's like you gotta let him cook.
Okay,
like that,
all right. Is that new?
Epic fail. Yeah, let them cook is like let them do their thing.
All right, I'm too old for that one, I guess.
Oh, I mean, I have junior high kids. Or one of them.
One that I hear a lot nowadays is people using the word utterly. Like, I am utterly disgusted with. And anytime people say utterly, actually, there's a book behind you over there under that magazine on the shelf, and it's called Wordwise. Yes. Good book. I read that book, and it was like talking about how it's like an epidemic, how we use words, not to use the words, but to like
be a part of
to like make sentences longer so that we can actually get our thoughts across.
Okay.
So when they're saying like, I am utterly disgusted with you're really saying like, I am disgusted, but it would just be too fast up for you to compute.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
So
it's almost like swears, like when you just to emphasize. Yeah, but it's just like I utterly hate that instead of just like I hate it. It's like I get the point.
I read that book and I was like, yeah, but that's just how people compute. Like it's hard for everyone to be like efficient.
That's what? That's very interesting you say that though, because I've never thought of that because I know I do it all the time where I will pad my sentences to like either remember. It's like, oh yeah, fine.
Yeah,
like it came to. That's a great. I like that.
Solid book. It's on my eBay store if you want to buy
anything. So
we're gonna get you to read something down here. I'm gonna get you to read something at some point.
If you can buy like the ebook, I'll read it because it'll be on a screen.
But the other word that I have too is when people eat food. It's always on diners, drive-ins, and dives, which I put on all the time.
Flavor Town.
Which, by the way, it makes no sense. I have no interest in how people cook. I'm so excited that people are that into it. Like, it's cool that people are that passionate about something. But I don't care about cooking. I don't care about learning about this stuff. I realize I'm just watching a show where people eat stuff. I'm watching people eat food. I'd rather be the one eating the food, but I just watch these people eat food. But anytime anybody takes a bite of food and they go, "Oh, it's so decadent," get out of here. Get out of here. You know 2 people who say decadent. Are you one of them?
No.
You know 2 people who say it, and they like, come to your mind, and you're like, yeah, they're just saying it because they're jerks.
This is like when you hate me when I go through my phase of using seemingly too often.
Oh, don't get me started on seemingly. It's not you. It's the world. Yeah.
I think of you, though, every time I say it, even if like you're not even in the context of it. It's
seemingly
like,
is
I
the
hope
worst.
He hears this one.
You know what? And that should be my number 1, because I will punch anyone who says seemingly in the open.
It was an example.
No, I appreciate it.
Okay.
So, yeah, word of the month stuff is my number 3.
All right, so mine is very, I guess, recent too, but based on my job and whatnot, I see a lot of TikTok videos. When I see kids in public like doing this, and it's usually because you can just see 2 kids doing some dumbass dance at a wall or whatever, and that's because that's where the phone is set up. I don't care. Like social media, whatever. Say what you will about it. Like the new Implant song actually is about social media, and it's like it's a good song, but it's a tired topic, and it's like also like, dude, we're using social media to watch this video right now. Right. You know. So, but in that, I mean, it's very irritating to me, but it is also, I mean, it's like us doing a podcast, though. Everyone thinks everyone wants to, you know. So when I see kids doing these TikTok 100%. Videos, it's like there's probably 30 people watching this. Or then again, who knows? Maybe there's thousands. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, when there's
more people watching that than watching.
Oh, absolutely. So we should start doing TikTok videos. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that would be it.
Okay. My number 2 is when people say I love country music, but they're talking about any country music after 1995, like from 1995 to current. Okay. Because that's not country music. That's just pop while you're wearing boots
and cowboy hats.
Yeah, like that is a fad right now, like country music. Like it's massive, right? It's huge.
I feel like it's been
Post Malone is like, I'm my country. Yeah. Beyonce put out a country album. Why? Because everybody is into country right now. Yeah. But in 5 years, nobody's going to be wearing cowboy hats and boots. They're the same.
I don't know, man.
The same people that are going to be wearing this stuff. It's not going to be a fashion thing like it has been lately.
Who are like the big country singers now? That's the thing. I mean, like this isn't me. This is just, I guess it is just ignorance. Like I don't know. Like is Garth Brooks still alive? To be honest,
he is. He's touring actually. Okay. But no, like Luke Bryan and
like Shania Twain. Any of these people? Do they?
No, none of those people that you know are big now. Okay. But I don't know the people who are big now either. Like I don't know their names. But like Jelly Roll is like a country / I don't want to say hip hop, but like kind of like in between. He's all tatted up. But
well, it's like Post Malone too. You're just like Malone, you look at him and it's like the first thing you think, he's like, all right, he's like a gangster rapper. Yeah. And then you hear him. First of all, he's like seems like on when you see him on stuff, seems like a really like down to earth, like very gentle soul, like a nice guy. Which is why it's so funny. And it's like then you hear his music and it's like, oh, like I wasn't expecting that either.
I think he's tremendous as a person.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I mean, like,
because I see the same stuff you do. He just seems kind. He, like, stops to talk to people. Yeah. You never hear bad stuff.
He was on one of the episodes of Impractical Jokers this season. Okay. I mean, first of all, he was just hilarious, like, being able to do that. But, I mean, like, yeah, you see some of the side stuff, and I mean, just like, oh, that was nice of you, man. Like, yeah, he seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, that said, I don't need his music. Yeah. And now he's gone country because he, like, quote, always wanted to go country, which that's cool. I get it. I like country music too, like old country music. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan, but like, no, Shania Twain even. Come on, what are you, Pee-wee? Pee-wee loves.
It was an example. Maybe I was channeling him.
Is there any country music you like?
No,
none.
There's stuff that no matter what, you can't help it. If it's on, you're gonna either be humming it or whatever, just if you know it. Yeah. Like if you know. But I don't think in my life I've ever actively like put on a country music.
So that's it. Just new country people bother me.
All right. My number 2, this is kind of slang, like you were just talking about. The difference between misusing could care less and couldn't care less. Okay. Because I think 75% of people say I could care less, which in turn means you could, in fact, care less if that's the... When you say I couldn't care less... That's when you're telling the person, I don't give a shit about what you're talking about. Okay. Because when you couldn't care less, then what their thing is, that means that is the absolute bottom. But when you say, I could care less, you could still care less. You know what I mean?
I want to say I'm on the right side of that, but I will gladly eat crow. If you can find a bunch of clips of me saying I could care less.
No. See, this is another one, though, where you look it up and you say which one is and they'll tell you it's like technically couldn't care less, but it's like, but it's one of those things that has been used so many times that it's like people know what you mean.
Yeah.
So, okay. But yeah, it still bugs me when like, I guess maybe it's more so on like social media when it's written out.
What about there, and there?
I mean, I'm a grammar guy anyway, as I said grammar wrong. But yeah, so I'm always, I love Jody and I are always just like, you need a comma there. You know, like the great ones, it's like commas save lives. It's like, let's eat grandpa, or just let's eat grandpa.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So yeah, couldn't care less.
Okay, I like it. My number one, so this is my number one thing people can say to annoy you or make you angry. Compliments. I cannot I can't deal with it.
Like angry though, or are you just like uncomfortable? Or does that lead to anger?
To anger,
Wow.
yeah. It happened yesterday too. Like, I'm kind of like dabbling with the idea of getting a new job.
Okay.
And so I'm like...
Well, you're doing jury duty, right?
Hey, $50 a day.
Just keep doing it, man. That's what he does in the movie, right?
So I'm kind of getting a resume ready, and you're like putting your skills and whatever. And I challenge anyone to a low self-esteem contest. Like, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. And so when you have to write skills and stuff like that, people lie on their resume. Yeah. I have a problem being honest on my because I don't feel like I have any skills whatsoever. So when I talk to like anybody, my mom or Megan or anybody, and I'm telling them this stuff, they're like, "No, you have," and I go, "Stop, please! Like, I don't want." But no, I cannot listen like anything. It really like it's like snakes in your eye, like
rubbing or like fingers on the chalkboard.
I can't deal with it. It's a problem. It's like a very serious issue that I have that I need help with, but I'm not going to pursue the help.
Yeah.
So I just like cringe and then like walk away.
Okay.
But yeah, and then like the person is always trying to like give you nice things or whatever, and then like they keep doing it because you keep cutting them off, and that's when the anger comes in. It's like, just please, I understand what you're trying to do.
I know how wonderful I am, but you don't need to keep telling me.
Yeah, so compliments.
Do you not like attention?
It's hard to say that because I do a podcast, stand-up comedy, I was in a band, I was like a pro wrestler, like all of those things. I'm an only child. All that stuff is like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. But I don't like when somebody's like, you're good at that.
So yeah, like all the things you just listed, I'm like, yeah, it's a good thing you suck at all of that.
Yeah, well, that's true. And that's like
that'll
my
motivate
belief.
Me to get better.
My belief is like I suck at all of that stuff, but at least I've like dabbled it a little bit.
I know how to do it.
No, I don't know how to do it, but I do it. I try to do it, and like that keeps me like sane-ish. But yeah, if anybody's like guitar, when people are like, dude, you're great at guitar, like no, I don't know how to play a guitar. And people are like, but you were in a band. And like, yeah, I play better guitar than you. You've never played guitar. That's as far as I will take the compliment.
Yeah, but still, I mean, like, you... all right, I won't say anything because you'll just get angry.
I was about to, like, jump over the desk.
Podcast ends with a punch to the face.
Next week, no topics.
Yeah. All right, so is that your
top 3 compliments next week.
All right, my number 1 then. This one's kind of lame, but it has just to do with, like, my impatience as a human, and it's just slow drivers. Or just, like...
Okay.
I mean, like, it is such an easy one, but...
You have road rage?
I do, but never to the point where I involve the other person. Like, it's a lot of me screaming, and it's, oh, you son of... And then I'll, like, like in Office Space in the very beginning when the guy's listening to gangster rap, and the black guy comes by, so he rolls up the window. That's me. Like, I'll never confront anyone, but I'll just, like, stew.
That's funny.
But no, I just, as a person, I'm very impatient. So, obviously, like, with driving, it's one of the worst things. And, so that's... the 3, at least the most recent ones that are pissing me off.
All right, top 3 things that people can say to annoy you / make you angry. That was fun.
Yeah.
I'm like sweating from my
last
one.
Yeah.
So let's pick...
I'm sweating from your last one.
Next topic for next week. Of course, Goff. He's got full veto power, so if he doesn't like it, he's not going to say what it is.
Yeah.
I like that you put it back in the bucket, though, so that's a funny thing.
It's just chucking him over my shoulder.
Here it is.
All right, here we go. Next week's topic. I'll dig around a little bit here.
The TV did not break, which is good.
Okay, I mean, like, this is kind of similar to what we've talked about a lot recently, but we're going to talk about the top 3 bands that we can't stand.
Can't stand?
Can't stand.
Okay.
Which I'm telling you, like, I know, like, a lot of our top 3 lists have been going negative, but I feel like you have better conversations when you're talking about things you hate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. At least we could get more fired up, too. Be more passionate. So, yeah, next week we're going to talk about our top 3 bands that we hate. That can be any genre.
And I promise to say that I will be more passionate and just continue to be monotone and boring, as I always do.
No.
Don't.
I can't do it. You're terrible. So, yeah, I guess, get better. Hold on. One thing I'm going to say, you can only have one country artist.
Okay, I don't even know if I'll have.
I was gonna say I just didn't want it to be like Travis Tritt.
No. It's got to be bands that like really irk you.
Okay.
Not just like all country. Well, I guess all country bands could be one.
That'll be a potent notable.
Perfect. All right. See you next week.
Later.